ticket to a game. I don't see his popularity declining. You can make the Skip Bertman comparison. I left Baton Rouge in 1984. I was a columnist there. I've been there 5 years. Never went to a baseball game. There was no interest in it. I mean, anybody that wandered into Alex Box Stadium back then was just lost or looking for a place to sit down. They just happened to wander into the stadium.
Yep.
I think the only column I remember writing there was when Jack LeMabe, who was the coach at the time, classified ad appeared in our paper, the morning paper there in Baton Rouge, advertising for a new baseball coach, though it hadn't been announced that Jack LeMabe had been fired.
Oops.
So, oops. So, but it made for a nice column. So, no interest. I leave. Skip Bertman arrives. And suddenly the sport took off.
Well, and I'm not going to pretend to know nearly as much about Bertman as you, but coincidentally last week I watched the really good documentary on him, and it sounds like they're talking about Tony Vitello 50 years ago. I mean,
Sure.
it is very intriguing. I mean, like, and they also, and Bertman had the struggles early on of making it to the College World Series and not winning it. So there was that little bit of correlation too. There are a lot of similarities. I felt like I was watching the Tony Vitello story.
Oh, I agree, Dave. And you could, in fact, I don't know
really
what.
He was really outgoing and funny too.
Yeah, he's very great promotional skills. I don't know what he's doing now. If he needs a few bucks, what's going on with him now? Do you know?
If you've got his number, maybe he could be our new baseball analyst.
No, I was thinking he could maybe be your new advertising salesman. The guy's a super salesman.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't know that I could afford him, but we could give that a shot.
Yeah, you put him on commission solely, no salary.
Okay.
No, but you look at what he did. He won right away. Vitello won right away. Went to College World Series right away. Vitello it only took him a few years. He went to the World Series. Skip Bertman had the best program in baseball, but it took him 8 years, only his 8th team at LSU, before he won a national title. He ended up winning 5. I think Tony Vitello, if he stays here at Tennessee for a long time, he'll win multiple national championships, not just one. So, they're the consummate coaches. Both can recruit, promote, coach, evaluate talent. Vitello works so hard at his job. He's just a relentless recruiter. And I asked him, I guess this was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were talking. I said, hey, Tennessee's losing a lot of players. It also has a lot of players it has recruited and signed who could opt for the major league draft. And so I asked him, so do you ever think about what your lineup might look like next year? Every day, he said. He's a guy who's entrenched in the present, but he's also always looking ahead. It's like he's doing 2 jobs at once. He's multitasking, and he's very good at that. So you think about losing the top 5 hitters in his lineup. Oh my gosh, this is going to be it'll be a drop off next season. I wouldn't expect one. I think he'll go to the portal. He'll bring in good players, and players develop in his program. They get better. You go back to what Dylan Dreiling was last season, part-time starter. Kavaris Tears hardly played. Now they're mainstays. Dreiling first-team All-SEC, Kavaris Tears second-team All-SEC.
John, let me ask you this. Smoky Mountain Red said, I honestly think baseball is on the heels of basketball. I'm going to use this bit of logic, and you tell me if it holds true. I am as likely to watch a regular season college baseball game as a regular season college basketball game in February. I think that tells you all you need to know about college basketball. Now, March is a different story, of course, but is baseball on the heels of basketball? Could we be talking about in 5 years that baseball is as big as basketball?
Oh, I think that's very possible because it's such a popular, fast-growing sport. If you watch these tournament games, they're very exciting. It's kind of like watching the NCAA basketball tournament. So, yeah, I think the chance for growth is tremendous. Now, we're in the SEC, so that's where there's no other league like this when it comes to baseball. But I do think that it's going to keep getting bigger. It's not just Tennessee, but other places are upgrading their baseball facilities, spending more money on coaches, assistant coaches. There's still a lot of things that have to happen to help baseball. I also think college basketball has declined in popularity. Not in March. I mean, that's a sports staple. The whole world is looking at the NCAA tournament. But overall, I think players, the one and done players, and now you have the transfer portal, basketball players come and go so much. I don't know. I just think, and I think the game itself at times is not as entertaining as it has been at other times.
Completely agree. And I also miss not knowing who are going to be the returning players with the one and done rule, but that's a whole different concept. I think they just chuck that. But anyway, I want to remind people that you can join Hooker's Corner. You can be a John, just like John Adams. Be a John, join Hooker's Corner. I saw we're a hoghead, and we appreciate that. Gave us the $10 for the super chat. Thank you, sir. But I would highly suggest you just join Hooker's Corner, and you get insider recruiting information. You get prizes and more. As a matter of fact, we'll be giving away a t-shirt and or book, depending on what you would prefer, a little bit later today and all of this week because we were off last week. By the way, Caleb's baby is here. And I haven't told you the name yet, have I, John?
No, I'm guessing it's not Hooker, though.
It's not, but it might have a very similar name to someone that's on this show. 2 Minutes with John Adams. I'm Dave Hooker. Portions of the program brought to you by our good friend Medicare Misty.
19 years this year. I've been in the community since 1993. You're getting a lot of information. Unlike when you were working, they made the choice for you. Now you have to make the choice. Come to us and let us help you make it easy. Call Medicare Misty, MedicareMisty.com or 423-777-5577. Let us help them sleep at night.
And we call her Medicare Misty.
All-wheel drive, $31,954. 24 Ford Edge, all-wheel drive, $37,975. 24 F-250 4x4 Crew Cab, $54,760. Ray Varner Ford, your East Tennessee Ford dealership.
Sports Treasures in North Knoxville is one of the South's largest sports cards and memorabilia dealers, featuring over 10 million sports cards from vintage to modern. Sports Treasures carries a full line of hobby boxes, singles, autographed memorabilia, Tennessee Vol collectibles, fan cave decorations, and so much more. See a museum full of collectibles at Sports Treasures, 4819 North Broadway in Fountain City, and Sports Treasures on Facebook. Sports Treasures, where the real sports fan goes to shop.
Have you seen the latest TriStar Hats Co. product?
TriStar Hats Co.? What's that?
You know, those really cool hats, shirts, tumblers, and even license plates with 3 stars like the official Tennessee flag and stripes like the American flag. Pretty patriotic if you ask me.
Ah, gotcha. Seen those. Those are cool. Where can I get them?
Simple. TriStarHatsCo.com. And if you order now, there's 10% on any order $50 or more. Plus, use the promo code HOOKED.
With the promo code HOOKED, you get 10% off. That's hooked.
And don't forget free shipping with any order over $50. Stock up at TriStarHatsCo.com. That's TriStarHatsCo.com. There are plenty of wannabes out there, so make sure you go to TriStarHatsCo.com for the best quality and customer service.
Will do, and I'll be sure to use the promo code HOOKED. That's hooked when I do, to save an additional 10% off. TriStarHatsCo.com.
TriStar Hats Co. is a trademark of TriStar Hats Co. LLC. Any use without express written consent is prohibited.
Now in its 45th year, the second and third generations continue Joe Neubert's commitment.
His vision of what this business needed to be, we still try to live up to that.
Joe Neubert Collision Center.
Presented by Banks & Jones, Tennessee's trial attorneys. Play to win, banksjones.com.
Who's this guy?
Hello, wizard.
The Dave Hooker Show,
Ooh.
a presentation of Off the Hook Sports,
What?
YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and the free Off the Hook Sports app. Back to Dave Hooker.
All righty. By the way, Jan pointed out that it's cheaper to watch college baseball in the major leagues. That's interesting. Some guesses on Caleb's son's name, who was born on Tuesday. I'm going to share it with you right now. We had picks of it's Zach Edey Calhoun. It's not the case. Ron Slay Calhoun, not the case. Hooker Calhoun, not the case.